good afternoon. Welcome to the webinar. My name is Niranjan Anant and I lead marketing at Profin Solutions. On behalf of Profin Solutions, I welcome you all for today's webinar on achieving RBI ADF reporting with ease. We'll be sharing some of the best practices here on the webinar. All right. We've got a lot of insights to share with you today, and our speakers are really looking forward for today's session. Now, with reference to today's webinar, we all recognize that a robust banking sector, backed by an effective global regulatory standard is of paramount importance. However, we also understand that regulatory landscape is changing in India, and particularly with regards central bank reporting, we see a lot of changes being rolled out by the RBI. And this makes it, at times difficult for banks to comply in a timely manner, right? There are changes in the guidelines, changes in the format of reports, elements with regards the data required to be shared, so on and so forth, right? So today's webinar will be covering a lot of topics, okay? The changing regulatory landscape in India, ADF, SINS reporting, the evolving frameworks, the challenges faced by banks, and we'll be showcasing our product regulatory reporting product, FinClues. We'll also be talking about some of the best technology practices which banks can adopt. And we'll also be talking to you about RBI reporting on the cloud, all right? While we have only 1 hour for the discussion today, our speakers will try to cover all the important areas mentioned just now. Now, during the webinar, the chat windows would be open. Please feel free to pose questions to the speaker or any of us. We'll be taking up the questions at the end of the webinar, all right? So without further ado, let me introduce you today's speakers. Joining me today from Profin Solutions is our Global Head of Regulatory Practices, Kamal Sharma. Kamal is a seasoned, industry veteran, a certified data warehousing management consultant with over 2 decades of experience in banking technology implementations. He supervised several large implementations of RBI regulatory reporting of ADF, RBS with banks like ICICI and HDFC Bank, has been a part of several data committees initiated by the regulators, like RBI, Bank of Mauritius, so on and so forth. We also have with us Prem Kumar from the FinClues regulatory reporting team, who will be walking you through our solution later. Prem is an ex-banker turned technologist with experience of working with banks like ICICI Bank. Okay, he brings in more than 13 years of experience and understands the regulatory reporting space from both a banker's as well as a technologist perspective. We also have Anirudh Deshpande with us today, who comes with again a lot of experience of implementing regulatory reporting solutions across banks in India. Has wide experience in product management, business analysis, and many other areas. So without further ado, I'll hand over the control to Kamal. Kamal, over to you. Kamal, we're not able to hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Hi, Niranjan. Am I audible now?
Yes.
Thanks. Thank you very much, Niranjan. Really nice for all of you to join on a Friday evening over here. I see a large crowd. It's really nice and overwhelming. My name is Kamal Sharma, and I would be talking for next 40 minutes, talking about the regulatory space with our experience in Profinch and elsewhere, and how are we going to help you out in this journey. So, as we all know right now, the theme today is the regulatory reporting with ease, and this particular webinar is specifically tailored toward UCBs and DCBs, more towards the UCBs, because at this point of time, there are a lot of initiatives from RBI happening with the UCBs. Before I just talk about the product, I will take few minutes about our organization to give you a perspective of where we come from. So we are a Bangalore-based fintech. We are now 568 people organization as on now today. We started 7 years back. Our main business is banks and technology. So we do core banking implementation for Oracle Flagship. For the digital side, we work with Oracle OBDX, and for there's another product for Basel, fraud, and AML KYC where we use OFSA from Oracle, which is a world leader. So that's our 3 domains We have expertise with about 100 plus customers in 50 plus countries today. With our experience, we have developed our own solutions also, and one of the solutions we'll be talking about today is FinClose, which we developed way back in 2015. Okay. Just a little more on us. So our average age of consultant is about 8 years, and with the experience which we have, just give me 1 second. Yeah, the experience which we have, just give me 1 second, sir. Sorry. Yeah, with the experience which we have also developed many adapters which can help a bank doing their regulatory practice, doing the reporting, and with these adapters we are in a position to do the implementation faster and much more smoothly actually. I talked about our company, and on the left side what you see is our relationship with Oracle and elsewhere. On the right side our own product. So FinClose and FinFlows. We will be talking about FinClose today. FinFlows is our product basically, which is a back office and mid office automation product, which can take, it has got a BPM engines, which means it has got its own DMS, it's got its own workflow, and you would be in a position to achieve, let's say, account origination, agency banking, branchless banking, or any type of origination, loan originations. All that is possible using that product actually. So that's on the FinFlow side, but our hero today is FinFlows, which we are going to talk more. So I just talked about our company, but now let me talk about our today's discussion point. In this slide, Niranjan, can you please move the thumbnail to the right side? Yeah, thank you very much. So if you see, there have been a lot of regulations. You as bankers, we as technologists have been in this industry for many decades. With the years of experience, we are seeing RBI changing their dynamics, their reporting requirements. So what I have done is, I have broken this into 4 parts. On the left side, what you see is the larger guidelines on top, which is the Basel guidelines from 1 to 4. We are somewhere in 3 right now in advanced stages, and 4 is also becoming applicable. BCBS 239 is applicable only to very, very large bank, which is GSIBs and DSIBs. But let's look at the right side on the top, which is RBI's mandates. So RBI introduced ADF in 2010 through an approach note. They started asking the larger banks first, hey, you have to bring this data into a system called CDR, and in the CDR you should do automation, there should not be any human intervention, and so on actually. That started with, that's where the journey of the banks started in 2010. 2012 was the time when RBI also introduced XBRL reporting on top of that actually. So XBRL reporting is a sort of XML reporting, but this actually helps understanding the back tagging actually. So that, and of course it has got a very standard taxonomy. So whenever the data is presented by a bank in an XBRL format, if there is anything wrong in the format, the taxonomy will not allow it to go and publish. And hence you only submit the right data. So that's another initiative which started in 2012, continuing today. In 2014, the discussion started, which finally moved into with multiple pilots on risk-based supervision. Now, risk-based supervision is again, there are 3 tranches, tranche 1, 2, and 3 right now. In 1, you have multiple subsections, 1A, B, C, and D. As on today, for UCBs, as far as my understanding concerned, RBS is yet to become applicable, especially for the UCBs who are AD1 actually. So that's on the RBS side. On AML, ALM and fraud, which have been there for a long time, and there have been many solutions around that. That's RBI is continuously, and if you look at this today, they moved to IND AS 109, which has become important, right? The accounting standard. Somewhere in 2018 was the time actually when RBI started looking at banks complained that no, we are submitting 220 ADF reports. There's a lot of challenges happening with the banks in terms of data collection. There's a replication, same report. So all that, RBI started working on something called ADF 2.0. This started in 2017 with an with a framework called ADAPT. And after ADAPT, it started working into data harmonization discussions, and finally the SIM started becoming introduced. So 2018 was a time when they started, aggressively going with the SIMs actually. RBI also started building their own SIMs based elements based data warehouse, which is currently being implemented by TCS. So that, having said that, SIMs became applicable to many banks, fairly the large banks, and after that, it started becoming mandated to the smaller banks also. Now, as we see, come January 2021, RBI has, as on today, chosen 14 UCBs. Most of them are either based in Maharashtra or Gujarat, and they have been asked to submit the ADFs, but now it is being called as SIMs. These 14 banks list is there with us. You can Google and you'll find these banks. And these banks now have to submit the ADF 2.0, under which there are some 21 reports, 21 to 23 based on their profile. And they have to submit all these reports through a new system called SFMS client. So what is actually happening, and this is something probably new for my friends over here, that RBI is now going to mandate this to the next set of banks also. They will be going one by one. So first 14 UCBs, the next set of UCBs, and then it will continue to go on. So our objective was that we understand that there is going to be a new mandate coming in. There is going to be new requirements coming from RBI, and that was the objective of starting this discussion and talking to the banks here. As on today, we have started our work with 2 of those 14 chosen banks. They have already become my customer. 3 more we are going to be signing, and other people are also in discussions with us. So that is the kind of RBI on the SIMS initiative which is happening, which is our main key area for today. What is RBI expecting from the banks? You have all seen this automation request, right? And automation, what is the meaning of automation? Automation means I want the data to be coming to the RBI without any manual intervention, which means there are processes, codes written, procedures written. The data is coming into something called CDR, Centralized Data Repository, which is RBI terminology. And in the CDR, the data should be coming as is data. And from there, the transformation should happen based on the requirement of the bank and the requirement of the regulator. RBI also says, if you look at the RBI approach note, RBI also says that, hey, please don't make this approach of ADF and SIMs as a cost center for yourself. Use this data for own consumption. In fact, the 4th directive, if you look at the approach note, says very clearly that MIS also should be used by the bank using the same CDR actually. So that's one part. Then the system which comes, it should have the facility for maker, checker, and audit trail. So if any data is being submitted which requires adjustment, there should be a maker and a checker, and there should be an audit trail in case the back tagging is required. The third thing is about the granular data availability, because when RBI comes on site for the supervision, they ask you for granular level data, so that the CDR and the system should be capable of giving the granular level data. And they also gave this on-site, what you call monitorable action item reporting, that should also be taken care of by the banks, and reporting should be done on a periodical basis. On the right side, what you see is the mode of submission. It should be actually, so right now the reports are being submitted on PDF, Excel, and XBRL. These are some of the formats, and there are some reports which are also submitted by ASCII. There is also, so far banks have been submitting, so those banks who do not have a system, they have manually developed these ADF reports. These ADF reports are being submitted to RBI using the RBI utility, or there's another utility called IRIS from a company called IRIS, and they do the submission. And there is also the same utility available at RBI side. Now, with this, what is actually happening is RBI said, no, I want you to keep a client at your place, and that is where for the UCBs, there is an SFMS client, which is basically a file transfer server. The client is installed at the bank end, and you would be seeing it when you start joining the RBI calls actually. And banks are supposed to be submitting this data using the XBRL by themselves on this client, and RBI should be able to pick it up periodically. The other point is, at some point of time, while RBI also said that I also want to bring more clarity in the data, rather than you submitting the returns, you can actually submit the elements. So what I will do is, for against every return which you are signing or which you are sending to me, you should be in a position to break that into elements and dimensions and publish at a placeholder which I tell you to do, and I would be able to pick it up myself. So that means, in that case, the submission which is actually happening today is return based filing can move to elements based submission. Okay, I hope I have explained you enough about the RBI new initiatives. Some more lights on that. So what you are seeing on the screen today is for the UCBs. This is the directive which RBI has actually given. There are some 21 reports, actually 23, but 21 reports is the main list. Now, if you look at these returns, there is something called Form B, which is for other banks. For DCB, UCB, it's called Form B. For cooperatives, for other banks, it's called Form A. Then there's Form 1, there is OSS, there is Form 9. And if you look at all of these reports, what is actually regulator asking you? A regulator is basically asking about the bank health. They're asking about asset and liabilities. They're asking about exposures. They're talking about the fraud and anti-money laundering. There are some places where you're also supposed to put the calculated value of your capital adequacy and so on. So this is the list of reports. If you do not have this, we are happy to send this to you, because RBI is publishing this list right now. So this is RBI's new mandate, which is going to come. 14 banks are already chosen. They are being run right now, RBI. There is every Friday a meeting happening with these banks, and they are being asked to produce what is the development, how are they building their ADF journey, their XBRL journey, and their SFMS loadings. Now, in order to do these reports, I mean, I don't know whether the screen was enough visible to you, but there are some challenges for the banks actually, because what's actually happening right now is most of the data, sometimes for the larger banks perspective, they have challenges for data preparation because data is actually not in the core. For a large bank, their core could be in Finacle or FlexCube. The trade could be in SunGuard, or treasury could be SunGuard. Trade could be somewhere else. So all that, right? That integration is required. But for the smaller banks where the data is in the core, even then there is some level of data which is actually not available, and that is where the challenge comes. So the first challenge comes is the availability of the granular level data. Second is collection of the from the different sources. Third is the adjustment entries, right? When you are submitting these reports, in the line items, there may be some changes required, and that probably the data is actually not available in the core, and hence that is put manually. But that requires maker checker, that requires audit trail, and sometimes you may actually have to post that entry back into the core after the adjustments. Some adjustments are done before the reporting is done, and after reporting, the adjustment has been posted back to the core. So that's another thing, because when, for example, if you have done, let's say you're posting Form B to the RBI on September 9th, you made some changes in September 7th, the report has been generated, but core level changes also happened on 10th or 11th of September. But RBI, when it comes to you, and if you have done this manual submission using your own systems, you will have challenges in replicating the same scenario which you did because you have made the changes in the code. But RBI expects you to run the same report with the same date stamp and producing the same results. That is where you require a tool which has historical data with timestamps and ability to generate the same reports with the same data. So that's one. During the inspection also, they will ask you to cover subject area wise, give me more data so that the granularity is required. And as I said, about showing the reports the same data. So all that becomes a challenge for the banks. And I'm sure you must be seeing this in day-to-day life. Right now, I'm just talking about only RBI and RBI here, because our main theme is about RBI, but this product can also do a lot many things. Okay. So here comes our product, which is FinClose. FinClose, what is FinClose? FinClose is developed by us about 6 years back now. This is a, if you look at on the left side, there are 4 boxes there, and then in middle you see FinClose. The first thing is it's an MIS and reporting platform, so which means you can also do your operational report. On top of the operational reporting, you need a decision-making systems, which is your management reporting that can happen through build on functionalities and dashboards, which you require dashboards and all. So that is another area FinClose can take care. The third area this will take care is about regulatory and compliance, which is the RBI reporting. Okay, and the fourth area is about the big data. In the big data analytics, you would actually be in a position to, if you are looking for a long journey, looking for the big data integrations, or you're looking for using Hadoop as infrastructure, all that will become. So FinClose is certified on that as well. It is core agnostic. We are right now working on multiple core systems. This is built on the principle of data warehouse, but basically it's a data banking data lake, because warehouse actually has a transformation before it is. It is built on the RBI's expectations. So that's the RBI side. But if you look at the MIS on top of the RBI, then there are thousands of, out of the box, thousands of the KPIs, hundreds of dashboards are there, which can come as an out of the box for a bank actually. Okay, we have our own ETL tool and scheduler. We have our own checkers and validators. Again, summarize what I talked. So this is broken in 3 parts. One is, this is the data is reorganized, transformed, and available for consumption. Second thing, there is a self-service module. And the third part is regulatory reporting framework. In fact, as part of this demo, we'll also be showing you a glimpse of our regulatory framework. Okay. Now, this is the current architecture which we have. Now, I have not shown all the micro level components over here. So this is a functional architecture. On the left side, if you see, you are seeing your source systems. It could be your core banking. It could be your other transaction systems. And this could also take care of your user defined fields, batch processed files, Excel uploads, and all so on, right? So that is the data sources. Bringing all these data sources into my CDR, which is built as per the RBI requirements, I'm actually bringing the granular level data. I'm bringing, and normally we do 1:1 mapping, and hence you have granular level data available with you, with no changes, no transformation done. The advantage of this is now, whenever there is a backtracking happens, you would be in a position to understand the source very correctly, because transformation only happens in the data mart level. So after this, we do extraction, then we do the load, and then we do ELT. The transformation is the third part. In the third part is when you do the transformation, you see this multiple marts out there. There is MIS mart. MIS mart actually would have a coverage of trade, treasury, election, loans, many multiple marts actually. And the RBI mart would be the CVR framework, which my colleagues will show you. After this RBI mart, the data moves to 2 directions. For the MIS, it will go to internal consumption. For the right side, it will go for the XBRL converter. So using the XBRL, which we are developing ourselves, we will be in a position to send this end-to-end automated and computed report to RBI. That's the advantage actually. And from the MIS purpose, you would be in a position to use for self-service, downstream application handoffs, if you want to do it, and also for the dashboards. So this is right now the on-premises option. This is being installed at our customers, which are in India right now. Several of our customers are using this right now. There is another architecture which we are coming up, and this is an interesting area. So in this case, what are we doing? We also understand that everybody may not want to go for system on premises because there is a cost attached to it. Then the second is maintenance, and third is the changes actually. So what we are trying to do right now, and this is where we are starting this journey, we have started already working with the cloud base. So what we would be in a position to give you the RBI reporting on cloud on a SaaS model. So to pay, so it will be probably 21 reports. If you're only looking for the ADF reports, only 21 reports. On the left side, if you see the architecture, would be your data sources. The data will need to be published by you in our model, which is multi-tenancy, and you would actually see your FinClude staging area. So you would actually see only your staging area and you will upload your data there. After that, we will do the simple transformations. Okay, and if it is ADF only alone taken, then you will only get the ADF and XBRL reports submitted. If you have taken MIS, then you would be in a position to do MIS. But in case of MIS, of course, you'll have to give me more data also. So that's an upcoming architecture, and we are looking for the cloud vendors right now. We are doing our POCs with them. So we are looking at, we have identified a couple of cloud vendors. We are working with them right now to see who is the most suitable for the urban cooperative banks environment in India, who has a good infrastructure, whether it's a public cloud with VPN connectivity or it's a private cloud with VPN. I mean, we are working on those models right now. But our idea is, by the time you come on board from RBI side, that are asking you to become part of the next POCs for SIMs, we should actually have a cloud offering. We are looking at this being customers coming on board from November, December timeframe on this actually. This is the tech stack. Some idea on the tech stack. This is on-prem right now. The same thing can also be used for cloud, but we'll have to discuss a little more on that actually. Okay. So on the tech stack, on the extreme left side, what you see is the data sources. The data sources are going to be your core systems. Then our ingestion layer, we are for the on-prem solution right now, we are using our own proprietary Java-based ETL tool. Storage on the CDR, where the staging area where the data comes for the first time before the transformation. There are multiple choices. There is Oracle, there is Postgres, and there is MS SQL. After that, our own internal jobs run, which you don't see. And then the final data comes and it resides for long-term, I would say, usage. There are multiple choices, which is Oracle, Postgres, and MS SQL. In case somebody is going for Hadoop, that option is also there. Then comes the right side. On the extreme right side, if you see, the RBI framework, RBI reporting framework does not require any visualization tool because the submission happens through XBRL, so there's XBRL converter. Then the second thing is, in case, of course, or you can do the PDF and Excel. But if you're looking for the MIS part and for the MIS and BI, right now, those hundreds of dashboards I talked about are available currently on OBIE and Qlik. We are also porting these dashboards on MSTR, which is MicroStrategy. All three of them are world leaders. MicroStrategy has come with us for a very specific offering for cooperative banks to enable their MIS, and so you're getting a world-class solution at a lower price. So that is on the tech slide. So Prem has given you a glimpse of the platform. What actually the advantage over here is, so let me just talk about the advantages. First is, this is a single source of truth for RBI requirement as well as for dashboarding. The granular level data is available to all of you actually, because whenever you need it for your internal MIS or at the time of on-site supervision, that's also available. So that's data side plus the historical data maintained. The next thing is RBI comes with the changes, right? RBI comes with the column level changes, raw level changes, addition of raw. So what we are doing is, when you are taking the system, you have a complete control. It's not a black box that you will not be in a position to take control of this. So you would be in a position to maintain your own reports. If you want to add some column definition or something, that is something which is there. So it is change ready in terms of RBI requirements and making your own changes also. Also on the maintenance side, it is very easy to configure. This is not a black box, it's a completely white box, and that there is the configurations in EL, configuration in the CBR framework, all that would be available to you for yourself so that you can maintain your reports, whether there's a change, whether it's a maintenance. But the next part is, it is future proof, right? This is the solution which we are talking about includes the best of technology stack, whether it is Oracle, SQL, or Postgres for data storage, whether you talk about the visualization, whether it is OBIE, Click, or MSTR, and the CBR framework itself, right? Once we have got the data with us as a single source of truth, when RBI comes tomorrow, as I said in my second slide, that risk-based supervision is also going to be mandated for UCB. When that happens, you will be searching for another vendor. But in our case, you'll only add a license because I will have the data with me. Only the delta of the data which is required has to be fetched again. And hence, the turnaround time will be faster. So whether it is an RBS, or if you want to build another report for CIBIL reporting, or you want to build a CRILC report, I mean, that's a possibility actually. And this is tomorrow, if you have taken it on-premise solution and you want to integrate this to do the what if scenarios for the early warning signals using statistical modelings, you can configure this with tools like Python and R and do your own statistical modeling. The same goes for advanced version. When a bank goes for the tomorrow from a UCB bank becoming a small finance bank or a full-fledged bank, actually the journey will go up, and this tool can continue to support you there. While you started the journey from ADF, then to MIS, and later on to machine learning and artificial intelligence, because we can integrate to any solution in the market which is available for machine learning or artificial intelligence. So that's on the product side right now. I just want to give you some glimpse of some of the customers. So in India, we work with Jana Small Finance Bank. Jana is our oldest customer for FinClues, where this is being used for KPIs, for risk and other departments. And in fact, we will be starting sometimes their regulatory journey also, because they had actually chosen an ADF vendor long before, who has now closed their business, and we are doing the business requirements right now studies. The other bank is Basin Catholic Bank, which is one of the UCBs based out of Mumbai, where I am doing the ADF, I am doing the MIS, and I am doing the dashboards. Another bank is Dombivli Nagrik Sehkari Bank, where I am doing ADF, MIS. So when I'm saying ADF, it is also including SIMS, by the way. MIS, Positive Pay has already been completed. Card Control has been completed. These are basically on their core actually. Dhanlakshmi Bank is another bank where we have done analytics. We have done ALM, AML, liquidity risk management, IFRS 9, and RBI reporting. Yes Bank is another customer where we actually implemented Oracle OBDX along with Oracle for digital banking actually. And now, as I initially mentioned, there are 3 customers who are basically Finacle customers in these UCBs. They are signing with us. I would be able to publish their names in probably 3 weeks time from now. That's on the side of Indian customers which we have, beside having some very big large names outside India like Mashreq Bank and Gulf Bank Kuwait, where we do very large set of work. We have 50 to 100 member teams deployed for these banks. We also have this FinClues at many customers like Mawaris Finance. Central Bank of UAE is my customer, which is equivalent to RBI in UAE. They have been using FinClues for quite some time now. So I'll just recap. We have shown you the Form B sample template. We have shown you our FinClues. How do we get our source systems? How do you get multiple reports into the CBR framework? How do we look at a single report? How do you design a single report compatibility with other systems? How do we define the columns and the rows for the report? Okay, and finally, how do we build the component IDs? Okay, so this is all about my colleagues have shown you. Let me just quickly show you a little more value on the MIS part. These are hundreds of dashboards. As I said, if you go for OBI or Click, it's available with us. So this is branch dashboard, right? You have outstanding principal by branch, outstanding the customer category. All these are user definable. So when I give you out of the box and you want to make a change, it is possible for you to do that. This is NPA overdue analysis. This is again overdue loan summary for NPAs. Again, you can see there are drills on the charts, drills on the left, and the KPIs in between. This is NPA trend analysis if you are looking for. This is again that NPA analysis based on top 20 NPAs, income at risk, outstanding, matured loan with outstanding principals. This one is having a heat map and also the DPD buckets. If you see from the right, you see the second chart. That's a DPD bucket which can be configured. And this can be used for SMA accounting. This is current year performance, R summary, 360-degree. In the absence of time, and of course, I'm happy to run an individual presentation for any bank actually, but we wanted to give you a glimpse actually. Okay, so some of the testimonials, if you can see, there are some customers who have been using. Janai Small Finance Bank has given very good testimonials. Some others. We have, of course, one more thing which I must tell you. This product, FinClues, has received multiple awards because it is one of the kind of the product. And as you can see, we are evolving more and more. So we introduced for the RBI ADF, we brought the SIMS compatibility in that. We now are doing the cloud version for this, and we will be continuously evolving. We have a fairly large team taking care of this right now. We see this is the next big thing happening in the industry right now. So hence, we have taken this initiative 3 years before, which has started giving us the customers now. Some of the press. So with this, I have finished my part of the presentation, and I'm happy to take the questions now. So Niranjan, if there are any questions, anybody has any questions, we are happy to open the platform to everybody now.
Yes. Thank you, Kamal. That was quite an insightful session. I have received a few questions directly. If I can start off with some of the questions which the audience had. So one of the questions is, when are you launching your SaaS model, and who are the vendors that you're considering? Yeah.
So for the SaaS model, actually, as on now, our concentration has been with the RBI initiative. So I have been also a part of those initiatives discussions with RBI, those 14 banks. And as I said, 2 banks already with us as our customers, 3 more signing in July. 5 customers out of the 14 will be with us, which is definitely coming to us. Okay. I see that another 3 customers will also come. So 8 customers out of these 14 should actually become Profin's customer, which gives us a very good leverage on the data sets actually. Okay. So what we are doing right now, while these implementations will go on, we have started discussing with multiple cloud vendors. We are talking to some of the international brands like AWS and Azure, which are based in India. They have their DRs in India, and they would be in a position to give us a very good and competitive pricing. So what we are doing right now is we are discussing. We are going to, so once we finish the discussions and the POCs, we will be actually talking to the banks, and I'm more than happy to discuss with the banks who are in this forum right now individually also. If you are interested in taking this discussion forward with us, we will actually take your case and go to these vendors and say, hey, we want to do some POC for these banks right now, or a group of the banks actually. So that's something which I'm looking forward. Time frame for this is going to be somewhere in November, December time frame when we'll be launching this on the cloud actually. So we'll onboard the customer somewhere in November, December. Discussion will start now. POC will happen after probably in September, October, and November, December is what we'll be onboarding the customer. So in my opinion, the banks should, those who come and onboard us in November, December, should be able to do the reporting when the year ends actually. Next financial year, coming to next current financial year.
Sure, Kamal. Thank you. Another question is, if a bank just wants to perform MIS on top of RBI reporting, would it be available for someone who's looking at a SaaS model? Yeah.
Sure, we can definitely do that actually. That is available. I have already shown that in my graph also. It is available, but the only thing is this will require more data, right? For RBI, we require one set of data. For example, I require GL balances. I require portfolio balances. uh, I require uh, some other informations from, but they're limited actually. But for MIS purpose, I may require 10, 10 more things actually. So that data has to come in my system. And if the bank is able to give me that data in my cloud environment, I'm happy to churn the MIS reports as well actually. In any case, I can churn a MIS report based on whatever data is with me.
Sure. All right. There's a question over here. Apart from reporting, how is it useful for UCBs? Yeah.
So, sir, this is purely Mr. Vineet Kumar, right? Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So this is basically it's a solution which is meant for RBI reporting and enabling this for MIS actually. So the two areas which we see this will help as we grow forward, and that's our roadmap. The banks also have to look for asset and liability management, right? Okay, so we will be looking at bringing more and more features onto this and trying to build the AML functionalities also in this AML and ALM functionality. But that's in the roadmap right now. At this point of time, somebody wants, I have to use another tool for AML and ALM. But yes, on our roadmap, we see this as a single solution for a bank which will take care of their regulatory, internal, and other what do you call MIS requirements.
Sure.
And also one more thing, if for example, if you become mandated for IFRS 9, the data can actually come from this source. So this data can be used for multiple handoffs for whatever requirements you may actually have. Trial balance, for example, I'm building trial balances for most of my bank customers right now on the system. Profitability, trial balances, and the balance sheet actually.
Sure. So the next question, Kamal, is typically what about the timelines for implementation? How much time does it take to implement the solution? Yeah.
Data mapping is the largest exercise in this.
Okay.
So once the data comes based on what we have agreed with multiple banks right now, RBI has given these 21 reports, 10 reports. So once the data has come to us, on the right side we are looking at after data mapping exercise somewhere around 2.5 months. That is what normally it takes after the contracts are signed. So from the end of the third month or towards the start of the fourth month, you will start seeing the reports coming in, and that will come in the set of probably 10 reports or 5 reports. That's what based on whatever agreement we have with the bank. So first 3 months for the configuration, fourth month onwards we'll start seeing the reports.
Sure. I think we were bang on time. So I at this moment don't see any further questions, but yeah, if there are more questions, you can please feel free to reach out to us. Anytime. So Kamal, Prem, anything from your end which you would want to add before we end this session? Yeah.
Nothing from my side. In the chat box, I am right now putting my email ID.
Yes. So we have one more question, Kamal, from Vineet. So Vineet Kumar, who's asking ALM reports, is it available? Yeah.
For the ALM reports, yes, it will be computed value we will take. So for the capital adequacy, you will have to build that using an engine. I'll have to take the computed value. This does not have the ALM engine. For scenarios, so I will take the computed reports for the reporting purpose. But ALM requires scenarios, right? So this does not have those scenarios.
Okay. Another question on the costing. I think that will depend. Yeah.
So costing will actually depend upon the discussions which we have and the models. What is the required? Because costing actually depends on many factors. Is it only ADF? Is it ADF on cloud? Is it MIS on cloud? So we will have to have a separate discussion actually.
Okay.
There is another question. I can see how maturity bucket is reported. So in fact, I have shown in one of the dashboards that there is if you want to put the DPD buckets actually. So what are if you're talking about a reported purpose, I would actually be taking, we can actually do a proper demo for you, Mr. Vineet, and explain to you how the reporting happens for various aspects of the capital adequacy and SME accounting actually. Oh, you are talking about the mature profiles in the ALM. Anirudh, you want to talk about this if you are available on this call right now? I think they are referring to OSS 7 if I'm not mistaken.
Anirudh, you're on mute. Yeah.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, so Mr. Vinith, when Prem was showing the demo earlier, in the data enrichment module, we saw that there were options to bucket the source values, the data that is coming in from the source systems into various groupings on the target side. And the same can be used for reporting down the line. So we can use the same functionality to achieve this purpose.
Sure, Anirudh. Thank you. I think, yeah, Kamal, as you mentioned, if there are more questions, you've left your email ID. I think banks can, reach out to us. We'll probably end the session now, Kamal. Yeah. So thank you, everyone. I think it was, an insightful session today covering a lot of areas. I thank you, everyone, for taking time out to join the webinar. We'll have the recording available soon for everyone. I think some of your colleagues who weren't able to join, we'll be able to, sort of share the session with them also. If you wish to get in touch with us with regards, ADF, please feel free to drop an email to Kamal. You can always visit us on profinch.com. Now at Profinch, we do keep conducting a lot of webinars on various industry topics. So please do follow us on LinkedIn and other social channels to keep yourself abreast about what's happening with regards to Profinch. So till we meet again, have a wonderful day ahead, and thank you. I'm going to close the webinar now. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.